We're following growing speculation today over Donald Trump's possible running mate. Trump says he will announce his choice as soon as Friday. He also specified to the Wall Street Journal that he wants the person to be an attack dog.
Trump hit the campaign trail last night in Indiana with the state's governor, Mike Pence. Many speculate that Pence is the frontrunner on Trump's shortlist. Meanwhile, Trump is seeing an uptick in poll numbers as he heads into next week's Republican National Convention.
CBS News contributor Mark Leibovich is in Washington. He's also the chief national correspondent for New York Times Magazine. Mark, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
So there is a new poll out today. It shows Trump making strides in two key swing states. He's now leading in Florida and Pennsylvania, where he trailed almost a month ago. But he and Clinton are still tied in Ohio. What do you make of the flip?
Well, I mean, polls like this especially are snapshots, and I think what this would incorporate is the last 10 days in which the FBI report on Hillary Clinton's email came out. I think this is a poll that probably reflects that more than anything. The good news for Hillary Clinton is that there was no indictment, so this is something that she could probably build back from. But look, I mean, Trump's done a lot in the last week or so, too, that you would think could have hurt him, and this looks like on the whole, it's been probably a pretty good week for Trump, even though a lot of the conventional wisdom is that he continues to not pivot sufficiently to the general election.
Yeah, Mark, there's some supporters of Hillary Clinton who say this is just a moment in time. She's had a rough couple of days, but ultimately what will prevail is the ground game that she's going to develop over the next couple of weeks and the demographics. If she can hold on to those demographics that Barack Obama held on to back in 2012, then she wins.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two advantages that I think she will, that are not going to go anywhere, presumably, and also that will help her, especially in a close race. But I mean, to get to a point where that's all going to make a difference and it's going to be decisive, I mean, she needs to, I guess, up her game. And I think in some ways the conventions are going to be very, very decisive because they will show presumably a contrast between the two parties. They could show a contrast in unity. And I mean, especially with the Republican convention, I mean, it's such a wild card. I mean, no one knows what's going to happen on stage, on the floor, outside the arena. So, in some ways it's reality TV, but it's also very, it's uncertain and it could cut both ways.
Another thing that we're waiting to hear on Friday is Trump's announcement of his vice presidential nominee. He campaigned with Indiana Governor Mike Pence yesterday. We know he's on the short list. Others on that list include New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich. All have decent resumes, but what will give any of them the edge?
I would say that they could in the short term by performing well at the convention, helping unify the convention or rally the party around Trump next week in Cleveland. I think really the most important role that this running mate has is, in addition to being sort of an attack dog, which Trump says, but also someone who can think on his or her feet. I mean, this is going to be one of the most demanding running mate assignments in history, in that this person is going to be asked to explain, to defend everything Trump has done in the last several months. And I mean, it's not going to, I mean, I assume most of the TV interviews that this person does, probably as soon as this weekend, are going to be just constant defense. And in order to do that, you need to be at the top of your game. You need to have a nimble mind. And, I think certainly Gingrich and Christie, who have run for offices, who have been on the national stage, in a big way, could be prepared for that. Pence maybe a little less so.
Mark, the feud between Donald Trump and Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is escalating yet again. She's given a series of interviews where she's been highly critical of Donald Trump. Yesterday, he took to Twitter, where else, and said, "She has embarrassed all by making very dumb political statements about me. Her mind is shot. Resign!" Exclamation points. What do you make of the war of words?
Well, I mean, look, it is probably not doing Hillary Clinton any favors in that it is a somewhat unusual, actually it's a very unusual thing for a Supreme Court judge to inject herself like this into the middle of a political discussion. In addition, I mean, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a real base exciter when it comes to the conservatives at a moment when Trump, does need as much Republican rallying as he can get. So I think in that sense it's probably unhelpful, but I think also in the big picture you can just sort of add this to the long list of people that Donald Trump has been in a feud with. I think this came out of kind of a left field, so in that sense it's a little different. But right now I think it's probably a win-win for Trump.
All right, Mark Leibovich in D.C. for us. Thank you.
Thanks.